Back in the mid-80s to the early 90s, Six Flags attempted a program called the Ride Rotation Program. Six Flags would invest in smaller attractions, then open them at one park, and then after a few seasons, they would relocate the ride and open it as a new attraction at another park in the chain. Six Flags saw varying degrees of success with this program that had many benefits but also had some downsides as well. In November of 2020, Six Flags announced in their third quarter earnings report that they would be removing 15 underperforming rides in the chain in an effort to save some lost cash. I made a separate video a little while back addressing that topic, so make sure to go check that video out. I'll put a link in the iCard above. One of the key things they mention in the call is that some rides may be redeployed across the chain instead of being removed entirely. To me, this indicates that there could be some form of relocations taking place in the chain in the near future. Today, I'll be taking a look at what a modernized ride rotation program would look like and how it could be possible and what current rides or future rides could potentially be involved in this new program. One thing I'd like to note before getting into the video is that this is all speculation and nothing is confirmed. There's no direct evidence for a relocation program being put in place yet, so just keep that in mind when watching the video. Also, before we jump into today's video, do me a huge favor by hitting that like button, as that is the best way to show your support for the channel. Also, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are well on the way to 2,000 subscribers, and I'd hate for you to miss any of my awesome plans for the upcoming season, so make sure to smash that subscribe button. Now, with all that being said, let's jump right into the video. First, let's talk about why Six Flags would do something like this in the first place. This program wasn't wildly successful in the past, so there will likely have to be some changes made to the old program to make this new one more effective. As we've said what feels like 1,000 times before now on this channel is that Six Flags is struggling right now and they need to find more ways to save money and increase profits without spending that much money. I don't think that Six Flags will be looking to buy too many new rides in the future. I addressed this in my video from last week talking about why Six Flags is delaying rides, and that partially ties into that. Six Flags is also looking to delay openings of the rides to make more money from their openings. They know that those additions could be their last additions for a while, so they're trying to make the most of them, which makes perfect sense. Six Flags will now have to look towards other ways to get new rides into their parks. One of the ways they could achieve that is by looking inward inside the chain and finding some rides that could be worth relocating somewhere else in the chain to a park where those rides could make an impact. We've already seen Six Flags do this with Vipera going to Laurent. This coaster operated as Green Lantern at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and the ride was not well liked and appreciated at that park. So Six Flags decided to relocate it to Laurent, where it will probably get more love. Six Flags Great Adventure also sent their Super Loop to Laurent, so it's not unfamiliar territory for them. This formula could definitely work due to the diverse range of parks that Six Flags has in their portfolio, giving them many candidates that we'll discuss in detail later in the video. One of the main questions that would be asked would be how would this new program work? I think there's two ways that Six Flags would carry out this program. It would really be dependent on how far Six Flags would be willing to go with this program. Like I mentioned before, Six Flags could definitely just relocate rides that are underappreciated to new parks. I think with this option, there will probably be only one relocation per ride. Most rides are not necessarily built to be relocated, so relocating rides more than one time wouldn't be the best idea, especially for the older attractions. However, what I could see is Six Flags buying some smaller attractions for some of their favorite manufacturers like S&S and Zamperla and sending some of their rides around the chain. I think if Six Flags buys a few Zamperlas or something along those lines and relocates them every few years, that could possibly be a winning strategy in this new era. Another one that could really be interesting is that if Six Flags could buy some smaller access coasters and send them around the country to see how they perform before installing bigger models when they are financially ready for it. This could be a good strategy for Six Flags in the future to test out new attractions without dropping a lot of money. This could also work for something like the Skywarp that didn't really seem to work so well at Discovery Kingdom. One more side thing that I think Six Flags might do is they might actually look to the ride market to buy rides for sale from other parks. A used Batman the Ride clone from overseas is for sale, and that could definitely be something Six Flags might look to buy, as funny as it may sound, so they could take advantage of a possible cheap addition to one of their parks. Buying used rides is another way to get cheap new additions that Six Flags could utilize. But anyways, I just talked about some options for ride models that Six Flags could buy for rotating. But next, I'm going to go over some key candidates that could be relocated that are in the chain to other parks. A lot of bigger parks in the chain have coasters that don't really serve a purpose in their lineup. Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain is definitely an example of this. Six Flags Magic Mountain has 19 coasters, many of which have inversions. Scream is a not well liked parking lot B&M floorless coaster. The coaster is known for having a rattle and not providing an enjoyable ride. However, I think if this coaster is relocated to a smaller Six Flags park, this coaster could be a massive addition for one of those parks if it is given proper maintenance. It could become a staple ride at some parks in the chain. I think a park like Darien Lake or Six Flags St. Louis could really benefit from a ride like this. I also like the idea of Green Lantern possibly being relocated from Six Flags Great Adventure to a smaller Six Flags park. I didn't have much of an issue with this coaster when I wrote it, but I felt like this coaster didn't add too much to Great Adventure's lineup. They already have a floorless coaster at Great Adventure with Bizarro, so the floorless conversion wouldn't really be an option. I think if this ride gets relocated, Six Flags would be able to give this coaster a floorless conversion, and it could be a very strong coaster. I also think Riddler's Revenge could be on the same pathway, but that coaster seems to be well liked, so that'd be a little bit less likely to happen. I'd also like to see Six Flags Magic Mountain relocate one of their kiddie coasters to a park like Six Flags St. Louis that does not have a kiddie coaster. There's no reason for Magic Mountain to have 3 kiddie coasters other than for the numbers, so they should just relocate one of them to St. Louis so they don't have to spend money on a brand new kiddie coaster. Another coaster I'd like to see relocated is Pandemonium at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Six Flags Fiesta Texas needs some land to keep their expansion up over the next few years. Pandemonium is another cloned ride that the park doesn't really need. If they can find a better home for this coaster, I'd be 100% in on this ride being moved. I also think that the park's boomerang could be relocated as well. Again, Six Flags Fiesta Texas is a major park that doesn't really need the lineup depth that a boomerang provides. Believe it or not, I think there's definitely some parks that could use a boomerang to help improve their lineups. They may as well send this coaster somewhere else. Maybe a park like Six Flags America could be a good park to send this ride to. Another one that I could see being relocated is Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great America. Intimate impulse coasters are a bit outdated and the coaster doesn't really fit the big park. Now that the park has max force isn't really relevant to the park anymore. However, this coaster packs in some thrills in a compact area, so there's plenty of places that this coaster would work at. This could be a great fit at any park that needs a launch coaster. One more great coaster for a relocation would be Goliath at Six Flags New England. Six Flags New England has always joked about having 2 boomerangs right next to each other. This coaster always seems to have a ton of downtime and is likely on the chopping block or will likely be removed for one reason or another at some point. This coaster was killed by the train Six Flags gave it. If they can give this ride to a park like Six Flags America and gave it some new trains, it could be a very solid ride like some of its counterparts across the world. Those are just a few coasters I could see being relocated in the Six Flags chain, so make sure to comment on any coasters that you think could be relocated as well. There's plenty of coasters that I didn't mention, so I'm sure there's some I missed that you guys think should be relocated. Overall, a modern day Six Flags ride rotation program will be very interesting if it comes to fruition. With Six Flags' recent struggles, it could be an essential piece to help get them back on track. Getting the most out of each and every ride would greatly benefit Six Flags. There's never a good reason to keep rides around that aren't helping out a park. Also, I think Six Flags being more open to ride relocations will open many doors for new possibilities. I like the idea of Six Flags experimenting a bit with their own rides to see what works best for them. This new program likely wouldn't be as upfront as Six Flags was about it the first time around. I think we will likely see relocations here and there rather than some rides being relocated 3 or 4 times like they were back when the program first began. What I'm saying by this is that Six Flags will likely not make this a staple of the chain like it was back when it first began. But since this video is just all speculation, I like to hear what you have to say. Do you have any theories on how Six Flags would execute a new ride rotation program? Do you think it's even possible? Are there any rides that you'd like to see be relocated? Make sure to leave all those thoughts down in the comments below. Also, if you made it to this point in the video, you may as well like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Six Flags content coming to you very, very soon. Now, with all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.